as far as running in 2016, there are certainly options, and there's plenty of time to do that. In the district that I currently reside in, you've got Eric Lesser, Tom Petrotti, and then there's the sheriff race, which was out there as well, which does not at the moment have a Republican in it, and I've got a background in corrections. So I mean, yeah, I'm gonna talk to my family. I'm gonna talk to supporters who've supported me in the past. Both my parents were registered Democrats. My mother still is. So at my dinner table, there was a lot of discussion about politics on a regular basis. Your next question is what was the probably transition to Republican? Quite frankly, I've been very impressed with Charlie Baker, with Governor Baker. When he got into office, it was always kind of like, he's the Republican, but he kind of fit that Bill Weld, Brian Lee's, I guess, type of Republican. He's a moderate Republican. And I've watched him and listened, and he has earned my tremendous amount of respect from me for being able to work in a highly Democratic legislature. I was a candidate for state Senate in 2014 in the Democratic primary. Prior to that, people within my circle that I kind of were bouncing ideas off would tell you that I was initially thinking about running as an independent, and in the end made the decision to run as a Democrat for, I think, obvious reasons that it's difficult to run as an independent. Even though most people declare themselves as unenrolled or independent, they tend to lean one way or the other. So made the decision to run as a Democrat, went to all the caucuses, but I was very honest at all the caucuses and with anybody I spoke to. My beliefs weren't to the complete far left of the party. And it was pretty apparent early on that that was not appreciated by some of the people in the Democratic Party when I would go to caucuses. I feel like I have a place within the Republican Party. Being a moderate, I can still believe in gay marriage and support gay marriage. I can still support a woman's right to choose in the Republican Party. But when I talk about Second Amendment issues in the Democratic Party or small business ownership, I don't get that warm feeling from the Democratic side. I do from the Republican people. When the election was over, I came to the very real conclusion that I'm a moderate. I get that. I'm a middle of the road guy. I'm not all the way to the left or the right. And it was clear that I do not have a place within the Democratic Party leadership. So I changed to unenrolled. As soon as people put a letter next to your name, a D or an R or an independent, but mostly D or R, they automatically put you in a box. I don't know what you are. So, but when I was campaigning as a candidate, I would go to different events, one being in Granby that I remember specifically, and it was a veterans event, and the gentleman, I was going around passing my card out, and he said, "What party are you with?" And he said, "I'm a Democrat." And he just kind of gave me the, forget it, I'm not with you. And I said, "Why do you say that?" And he goes, "You're going to take my guns away." And I said, "What if I told you I'm a gun owner?" He says, "How can you be a gun owner and you're a Democrat?" And then I said, "What if I told you my son's in the military?" And then, so we actually started talking, and he finally took my card. In the end, don't know if he voted for me, probably not, because he was probably a registered Republican and couldn't vote in the primary. But in the end, we had a very good discussion, and we had walked away with a mutual respect of one another. So now that I have an R next to my name, I get it from the other side. My background is I'm a lifelong resident here in the Pioneer Valley. Lived in Ludlow literally my entire life, except for the couple years that I went to Westfield State. So I have been a Hamilton County resident. Graduated from Ludlow High School, went to Holyoke Community College right after high school for financial reasons mostly. My dad had just lost his job and he was between jobs, so HCC was the best option for me. From there I went to Westfield State, graduated from Westfield with no loans whatsoever. I was on the extended plan because I had to go part-time a few years. I just couldn't afford to pay for the full-time, so I went part-time, worked while I was doing it. Started working at the Sheriff's Department at York Street as a corrections officer. Did that for 6 years. We transferred from York Street to the Ludlow Jail. Then I worked at the State House for a short time as a legislative assistant. Really enjoyed that work. Went back into corrections, working in community corrections, and did that for a number of years. And since 2003, I've been self-employed. Bought my own business, bought a variety store around the corner from my house, and I've been running that ever since. Married, my wife graduated high school with me. My son's in the military. He is a in the Air Force as an airman. I'm 21 years old. My daughter's 18, graduating high school this year, and I'm also a part-time police officer for the town of Ludlow. Politically, I was a member of the Board of Selectmen from 1993 to 97. Left there because my wife and I just started having children at the time, and remained involved. Founded several organizations in town, and I've been on the school committee for the past 11 years.